A while back, I did a review on the Boondocks Season 4. I did in the first place because of the fact that this smart comedic show I grew to love became no better than Modern Family Guy. But that was one season with just 10 episodes. Imagine if a show you loved got cancelled or ended, then was brought back, went on for years and years, and it got slowly worse until the point where it became nearly unwatchable. I already talked about this show several times already, but now I'm going to go into much further detail into why it's bad, and talk about the show in its worst and its last season, Season 10. So let's get into this. The opening. I'm not even in the actual episode yet, and I already can't stand this. The original intro had a certain jazz out to it, and then the intro looked very enticing to watch. Now let's look at this thing.
Timmy's still an average kid that no one understands. Chloe's his new neighbor, and she's ruining all his plans.
The animation. At least at the beginning of this season, the show maintained its traditional animation, and was very fluid and nice to look at for the most part. Then out of nowhere, halfway through the season, they started using Flash. Why? It looks terrible. Your animation was so much better. In fact, Johnny Test has better animation than this. And they also use Flash. Now, I'm not saying using Flash animation is bad, period, because if used correctly, you can get something pretty good out of it. And it can be very easy to use, especially for new animators or something like that. But not this crap. I can't even say crap? Okay, stop it. Let's just keep going. There's only one more thing I want to talk about before we get to the actual episode. The characters. I admit the characters weren't that great before. They portrayed most of the men like idiots. They portrayed most of the men as unintelligent, and most of the women as nags. Why'd you shock me that time?
It's offensive towards women.
Okay, this is bullshit, man. But I'm fine with it, and I'm gonna keep quiet over here.
Continue with the review.
Okay, as I was saying, most of the characters were stereotypes, but not to this extent. Cosmo and Timmy's dad don't even have functioning brains anymore, and despite both of them being this bad, Timmy's mom and Wanda continue to stick by them. They're stronger than this, because all women are bold and powerful, and stunning and brave. Was that good?
Yes, please continue.
Okay, now the worst out of all these characters is none other than Chloe Carmichael. I am so sorry for what I said earlier. What I meant to say was that Chloe is the best character in the entire show. She's a stunning and brave little girl that can do anything she wants. She barely has any flaws, she's adored by everyone around her, and she's perfect in nearly every way. Because she's a strong, independent woman. Now you may think she doesn't deserve to have fairies like Cosmo and Wanda, because they're only given to miserable children. But they can make an assumption for her, because she deserves it, because she is a strong female lead. So I have nothing to complain about her. Anyways, let's get into the episode. So it turns out Poof is coming home from the Fairley Elementary School during spring break. Oh yeah, did I not mention him? Poof is one of the many characters that don't show up in the show anymore. Like Sparky, Anti-Sparky, Chester, AJ, Tootie, Trixie, and many others. But those characters don't matter. Chloe is all we need.
Poof, you're home and you grew a body!
'Cause I'm Timmy!
Poof, you're home and you're a girl!
'Cause I'm Chloe!
Poof, you're home and you've been framed!
Yeah, Cosmo's sense of humor never gets old. So after being absent since last season, Poof finally makes a return, and we finally get to hear him talk.
Golly, it's good to be home. Is this Chloe? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and this isn't the only voice we get out of him either.
Knock yourself out, lady!
That's right, Mama. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I brought some friends home. Well, one friend and one harbinger of doom. It's gonna be huge.
So, on top of his voice being off, it isn't even consistent. But hey, that's just petty complaints, right? Can I get some water, please? Also, Chloe has this weird obsession of where she likes to smell babies' heads. But again, who wouldn't love to do that? Because all babies are cute, and Chloe's character is so complex that she can get away with anything. Yeah. Anyways, Poopit also brings over his friends as well, like Semi-Sweet Sparkle and Foop 2. But want to make sure that everything goes smoothly during spring break.
Here's how spring break's gonna go down. It's gonna be chock full of wholesome, age-appropriate fun for everyone.
Or else this video won't be monetized. I'm serious. So all of them have a nice time outside.
Hello!
I'm churning butter. It's both wholesome and age appropriate.
Ugh. Is there a problem here? Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm still going. So Foop has to find some way to get Cosmo and Wanda out of the way. Otherwise, this episode will be over with in seconds. And that would be no good for anyone here. Anyways, Foop tricks the two of them into going to a fancy restaurant that turns out to be just a big black hole instead.
Well, it did get a B rating. Also, it's called Shea Black Hole. And now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it was Foop that offered us the free dinner. And he did use the phrase certain doom. Speaking of doom, have you looked at these prices?
I'm trying as hard as I can to not make fun of this. Despite the fairies being gone, we still have Chloe around to handle things.
Certified Super Sitter is already on it. I checked the Super Sitter syllabus and found a list of pre-approved and politically correct fun activities. Fun-tivities, if you will.
Yay!
Here you're babysitting. Would you mind watching Timmy's dad? I can't take him grocery shopping anymore. He wiggles in the cart and grabs candy off the shelves.
Candy is good. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Also, isn't anybody gonna question why a mentally challenged man is allowed to hang out with a bunch of little kids? Wiiteen, somebody's gonna get a seizure from this if we keep getting electrocuted. Keep it clean. Okay then. Let's try and get back to some family-friendly fun the show has planned for us.
We could tell pre-approved Super Sitter sanctioned jokes. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Hatch.
Hatch who?
Gesundheit.
Yay! And even though there's clearly a written rule in this show that adults are not allowed to see fairies, that can easily be ignored because this brilliant comedy is far more important.
Sing an inspirational song about a resilient little arachnid. Sing it with me.
Oh no.
The itsy bitsy spider went up the wall.
Oh my god, no!
Don't use the Lord's name in vain.
Can't someone else take over for a while?
No, it has to be you. Now, keep going.
Fine. So, everything is fine and peachy until you know who crashes the party.
Vicky!
Now, I know there is a rule about adults not being allowed to see fairies, but that's not important here.
Timmy, why are we screaming?
Trust me, just keep screaming.
Please stop screaming. Okay, I'm moving on to something else now. Vicky manages to take away Poof and Foop's wands and lock them away. Even though Sweet Sparkle still has his wand, but let's ignore that too, for plot's sake. So Vicky manages to make a trapdoor out of thin air for Timmy and Chloe, and tries to poorly recreate the movie Saw by putting them through the worst torture imaginable, like, get this, running on a treadmill, eating Brussels sprouts, making them clean up, and listen to Crocker read for hours. All the pure horror. Yeah, let's forget Saw and Hostel. Certifiable Super Sitter tops them all.
Don't these delicious fresh-baked cookies smell yummy?
Oh, let me guess. She ends up eating the cookies right in front of them.
Or am I? Now sit there and drool while I eat all the cookies in front of you.
Wow, I never saw that coming. Are you done yet? I wish I was. So Vicky's making everyone her slaves while Timmy and Chloe are still trapped underground.
Failed, Timmy. I let down the babies and your baby-adjacent dad. I'm gonna have to turn in my certified super sitter badge, hat, snuggly decorative scarf, floaty pin, sippy cup cozies. I love those cozies! I don't even know what I had anymore!
Yeah, I definitely feel so sorry for Chloe right now, considering how she masterfully changed the show for the better and made it more age appropriate for everyone. Anyways, they managed to get out by making the garbage fill the room and get above ground again. Then Chloe and Vicky fight each other using a lightsaber and a chainsaw. Because anyone who uses Star Wars reference like this is bound to succeed. In the end, Vicky is defeated through a hilarious one-note gag.
Here, Punchy!
Why would I say here, Punchy?
Shrimp on the barbie!
A punching kangaroo. I did not see that coming.
Because why not? So the fairies get their wands back, Vicky is blasted away, they all go back to be found outside, and Cosmo and Wanda escape the black hole. The end.
So, Wiiteen, do you have any final positive thoughts to say?
Actually, no. I don't. If you get near me and try to shock me again, I'll kill us all. Wait, what? You're not gonna kill me without me saying what I have to say first. After that, you can do whatever you want to me.
Very well. What do you have to say?
I think there's a valid reason to why this episode turned out this way. You see, at some point, the Fairly OddParents was moved from Nickelodeon to Nicktoons. And if you didn't know already, the Nicktoons channel is pretty much where cartoons from Nick go to die. Every time the network wants to get rid of a cartoon, they move it to Nicktoons, where they know the ratings would get so low that the show is bound to be cancelled. This has happened plenty of times before, and this was no different. And even while Season 10 was still airing, they were still making and producing new episodes. Once they knew the show was going to end sooner rather than later, they didn't even bother putting in the effort at this point because they knew that no one would be bothered to watch it anyway. The reason why they switched to bland, ugly flash animation, the reason why all of the characters are reduced to stereotypes, the reason why the Mary Sue character is the star of the show now, the reason why they throw the show's logic out of the way for the sake of the plot, the reason why the writing and the comedy is so bad, is because they don't care. They didn't care. Or at least that's what I would have guessed, because whether or not the show improved, no one would be watching it anyway, and it would be cancelled because of the abysmal ratings. And this resulted in creating some of the worst episodes the show has ever had. And this is one of the biggest downfalls I've seen from a good cartoon. The Fairly OddParents is a show I loved for how creative and fun it was with its ideas and concepts. But that feeling is completely taken away in the newer episodes. This show has been in a bad standing for years, until this came out and finally killed it. Now, we don't exactly know if it's going to be cancelled or not, but most likely it will be, and I think it's for the better.
I am leaving Nickelodeon. This is not clickbait, this is not a joke, this is completely 100% serious. I have reached a decision, and it's just time to go. These things happen in careers in Hollywood sometimes, and I'm certainly not the first person to ever leave a studio, and it certainly won't be the last, but it's the first time for me. I've never had a job this long at one place. A lot of you are probably very young. You're probably not even 20 years old yet, and just to even imagine being at one job for 20 years is probably a little hard to imagine, but when you get to be my age and you've had a career as long as I have, it can be pretty interesting to be at a job at one studio for so long. And I must tell you, I have had the time of my life at Nickelodeon. I have never been disappointed. I've never been let down. I've been treated extremely well by everybody there. This is not a video to diss on Nickelodeon or to trash them or anything, because they've just been fantastic. And I've had a career in animation that is pretty epic. I mean, a lot of people have told me they envy my career. I wish I had your career, this sort of thing. It really did come as a blessing from God into my life. It's been an amazing time. Definitely there is hard work. We have to do our part for sure. There's a scripture in the Bible that says faith without works is dead, meaning you can have all the faith in the world and all the belief in the world that you want to do something, but unless you put work behind it and put that effort into it, it's not going to come to pass. So you've got to do your part as well. So I know God plays a big role in my life. I really believe there's a lot of amazing circumstances that have happened in my career that a lot of other people haven't experienced, and I'm truly